Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Wonder, aka Mr. Sinister, and today I wanted to dive into a topic I've been thinking about doing, but I never really went along with it. The title of today's video is going to be the time I felt RP rage. Now, everyone within the space is already familiar with this term, and this isn't something that I thought I would feel. It actually wasn't the girl who initially turned me RP that caused the rage. This girl, the girl who initially turned me RP, she practiced her hypergamy monkey branch with some guy that she worked with, and you know that was pretty much it. It is what it is. No, no wahala. But the rage came from the girl before her. So in the beginning, everything was sweet. Things are always like super sweet in the beginning. Honeymoon, everything is wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed her company. The SEX was great. I liked her vibe. She was actually funny too, which is almost what do you call it? An oxymoron because I don't find most women's style of humor particularly funny. But yeah, everything was good. Later down the line, I would notice that. Well, at least it felt to me like I was competing to keep her, whereas like she was sort of like looking for fault, like looking for a reason to like dismiss me or find inadequacies with me. So, for example, one of the things that I noticed is she would say, "Oh, I'm tired of sneaking around in your parents' house or whatever," which was a not so subtle jab at me saying that like, "Oh, you need to move out, get your own place. I deserve to be in a better place." And she's right, but the thing is, the real estate market here in Miami is extremely competitive, and for someone to actually lock down a property is something that's quite difficult. She always seemed like she outlived her means to a certain degree. She wasn't bad with money, but I would see the things that she was doing. I was like, how are you able to really like afford it? Because at the time she had some job at the gym, making maybe like $12 an hour or whatever. It was okay. Nothing superb or whatever. Later down the line, this is after I turned RP. By the way, this is a girl that I actually, wanted to go to long haul with her. We would go on trips together. We went to Chicago, and that was kind of like when I solidified my affections for her because in Chicago it's cold as hell. So we were bundled up, dressed in like big coats or whatever. Totally covered up, and I didn't really feel an attraction for her, and that's not a bad thing because I enjoyed her company still because like I said, she was entertaining. I liked her vibe. We spoke a lot, and it that trip kind of like made it seem that like okay, if even if sex is off the table, I still want to be with you. And that was an important thing. If you're gonna have somebody for the long run, you know. Outside of the bedroom, you need to find interest within that person. So fast forward later down the line, this I actually popped the big question to her. This is someone who I actually thought about marrying or whatever. But the reason why the relationship fell apart, like I said, she was on a fault finding mission. She, looked for any reason to kind of like dismiss that. It is what it is. The relationship ended. We went our separate ways, whatever. So the rage came later down the line. I started doing a bit better for myself. I started making a bit more money, hit the gym, got myself in shape, improved my fashion, improved myself in like a conversational skills. Pretty much every single facet of my life improved since then. I came across a content creator. His name was Coach Greg Adams. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him in the space. I mentioned him before in a different video, but I asked him a question on Super Chat, and the question was pretty much does the term mentor is the term mentorship synonymous with sugar baby, sugar daddy type of situation? The reason why I asked that question is I've been on websites where they'll like the young girls would use that type of language, mentorship, looking for a mentorship, and we all know the way women speak. They're very indirect. You can't go to a woman and say, "Oh, I want to have sex with you. Or come over my place. Let's have sex." You can't say that. They'll be appalled by that. Instead, what you say is, "Oh, come over my place and let's Netflix and chill," which is synonymous for that. For some reason, they don't like the direct version. They like the indirect version. So why am I bringing this up? Towards the well, I guess maybe actually, now that I think about it, pretty much the entire lifespan of our relationship, she would oftentimes message me and say, "Oh, I'm going to see my mentor or my mentorship," and I thought at the time it was kind of because she was in college at the time, I thought it was something. Like a guidance counselor or something or internship, and then they give you a mentor for that internship, but she never really mentioned anything like that. She would always use that term. So anyways, when I got clarification that the term mentorship is something that's synonymous with that type of activities, that's like the piece of the puzzle, and then the picture starts making sense. So you start to see how her, like I mentioned earlier, her lifestyle didn't really match her how much she was making. That was one thing. She would go on trips that, again, part of the lifestyle, and then she would ask these grand, not grand, but she would ask higher of me, which is, it doesn't seem bad when you say it like that, but I've come to the realization that, like, a lot of times when women ask higher of a man, it's because they've typically dealt with a man who has those higher standards. So, for example, if they were like, "Oh, why don't you take me to this restaurant, or let's go to this restaurant?" Some guys probably taking her to a much nicer restaurant. That's why they don't like coffee, because they've gone to five-star Michelin restaurants. So it starts to put things into perspective, and I think at that point, that's when the whole rage thing started. So I never like lashed out at anyone. I was kind of short with everyone else, because the way it came across me is like, it's kind of like somebody put a sticker on the back saying "kick me" or whatever. It's like 50% of the population was part of some inside joke, and you weren't aware of it. You were just walking through life, kind of like being played by everyone else. So that's the way I interpreted it. I was pretty pissed off at that point. And I never reached out to her to explain how angry I was. I was like, you kind of just like chuck it up to the game, and when you move further, when you advance, you just try to understand what happened before. You know that this means this, and you try to move a little bit more strategic. So that's pretty much it. And I hope that kind of helps someone who maybe is coming across that sort of situation. And I think now the dating market is pretty much becoming totally monetized. They'll sugarcoat the language a bit, so it doesn't come off as overt. I'll leave it at that. Maybe I'll make this a separate video, but it's a scary world out here. There's another video I actually want to work on. It's mostly based on the Asian dating market, and maybe I'll get that within the next couple of weeks. But that's pretty much it for this one. I don't want to bash anyone. I know people tend to think that, oh, because you talk about transgressions or something, that then you're bashing someone. I'm not gonna speak badly of her, because in a certain way, if you speak badly about your ex, it'll kind of have it'll reflect you as well, because at the end of the day, you're the one who chose that person. And yeah, it was an upsetting moment for me, because this is someone who I, had such high regards for. This is someone who I devoted, everything to. And meanwhile, they were seeing some older men and, having unprotected sex with that person. And then, coming back to me and demanding more from me. It's a giant slap in the face, but it is what it is, guys. All right. Love y'all, boys. That's the end of this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.